that energy that you bring in, that talent that you bring in, it is definitely being matched by none other than Canada West #2. They just cooked up over there. In first place in their World Warrior program, we had none other than Cero Blast, one of the most exciting, one of the most electric players throughout the history of Street Fighter V. Extremely wild style, but clearly it is controlled because it keeps winning over and over again. In second place, we had White Gun with the Cammy, and then in third place we had Noodle with the Luke putting in that work. Listen, if you play Luke, you are a Noodle, so I feel like that's a definitely a very self-aware name. But no, all respect to Noodle for putting in that work. And then also need to check out the standings over here. As you can see, we have Cero Blast with 100 points, first place in both events. Second place we have White Gun with 75 points. We have Mortsy in third place, even though we didn't see him in the top 3 podium today. Of course, he has 60 points overall, one of the strongest players in this region. Canada West looking extremely strong.
Extremely strong, but Cero Blast starting to pull away with it here. We're starting to see a little bit of a separation amongst the players as these events go on. But a place where it's definitely still close is Brazil. So we go over to Brazil. This one put on by BRKumite. This one won by a new player. Neil with the Luke takes first place this time. Horace Paulin gets second place with the signature Ed. The second place in a row. Both events he's gotten second. I know he's hungry for that win, but those points are definitely adding up for him. Then third, Jean Leche with his signature Rashid. I mean, Jean Leche is like he's a staple at this point. He's a favorite. He's an old school Brazil representative at this point. No longer new to the scene. Still pulling in strong results. But when we go over to the overall standings here, we can see Dark and Horace Paulin both tied neck and neck with 80 points. So Dark, in the second event, he only got 4th, but that 30 points combined with his first place finish gives him a beefy 80 points there. Horace Paulin, 80 points as well with 2 second place finishes. Jaleche rounding out 3rd with 65 points. But yeah, it's definitely looking more like the bottom positions here in this top 8 are where it's getting really competitive. Gus, HK Dash, and Paulo Webb are all tied. Oh, including Mimam, 4 people with 35 points. So that's, you know, that these are the players to look for to see where they end up in these upcoming events, because they're going to be scrounging to ensure that they get that 5 extra points, that 15 extra points, any placing they can get ahead of each other. More than anything is going to be really important to ensure that they secure their place in the top 8 for their region.
They're definitely looking to ensure their spot in that top 8. And Brian, I tell you what, if I was in this next bracket, I probably would take out some type of life insurance or something like that, because it's full of lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And of course, I am talking about Canada East #2. As amazing as Canada West was, you think East was going to let them show them up? No way. In first place, we had none other than our guy, Flux Waves, looking ridiculous with that poison. I mean, how strong is this guy? He's been so sick over the years, the poison. And then in second place, we had Joe Ume Rogan, one of the most improved players that I have seen in North America over the last 2 years. And then in third place, we have very strong player, none other than Brutus, of course, a personal friend of the show. We need to see exactly where these guys stand when it comes to the World Warrior program. So let's see. In first place is Joe Ume Rogan, but he is joined by none other than Flux Waves, as they both have 90 points overall. And then in third place is Z's Nuts, a ridiculous Akuma and Luke player. And look right there in fourth place though, Brian. Is that none other than young Miso Kratz? Shout out to young Silver Rupee in fifth place. Very strong Ed player. Will Intentions, Brutus, and of course Dale's on Fire rounding it out down there in 8th place. This region is absolutely stacked, and I really don't know who's going to qualify, but I'll tell you what, I will be watching that top 8 at the end. I can't wait.
Well, speaking of another region where we might be seeing a favorite instead of having such a toss-up in the results, we're going over to Central America B, where Todokai has taken first place in this event. He's looking to establish a significant lead in the points here. He just came off a second place finish for his CPT qualifier. You know, he had a really heartbreaking grand finals where he got so close to closing it out and eventually got reset by Solvian G. But this one he takes solidly with his Cody, actually. So he used a mix of characters. He did use Cody in the CPT event, but he closed it out with Urian. But this event, I looked at the top 8, rocking solo Cody, so showing that he's trying to keep up with the times and pick the right tool for the job. Second place, I Am the Final Boss, who is rocking his Dalsum and Ken combo. And third, Nane Jr. rocking Luke. But if we look at the overall standings, Todokai looking very strong with a first and third place finish, has 85 points, putting him in the first place position. But there is Doom Snake, the old Panama favorite right there. 65 points with a first and ninth place finish. As we go down the leaderboard, we actually see I'm the Final Boss is tied with Doomsnake. Full Gore rounding out 4th place, tied with Nane Jr. with 55 points. But yeah, it looks like the point spread is pretty even throughout all the positions between 2nd and 8th. So it's definitely going to be a highly contested region to see who's going to make that top 8 finish. But Todokai is looking very good and solid in his lead with these points.
But this next event, bro, this next one we're talking about is, of course, that's the home base right there, Brian. United States Midwest number 2. In this event, we had in first place none other than my man's Mag Negro. Shout out to my boy Mags, man. I feel like we always make it known that Mag is your favorite player's favorite player, and I don't give a dang how many times we gotta say it. He is that. He's like the MF Doom or something like that of Street Fighter. Just an absolutely amazing player and amazing person overall. Proud of him getting that first place. And in second place, we have my guy Marv. Listen, let me tell y'all something about Marv. That is someone who is always on the grind, always trying to learn, and that's why you see him placing as high as he does with that Karen right there and with the Chun-Li as well that he busts out of grand finals. And then in third place, we had another player from Texas down there, none other than Kendricks, who is ridiculous as well with his Vega. Definitely an amazing player there. Now let's look at the overall CPT Midwest standings, and if you look, you see something very interesting. This is the only region in the world right now where 3 players are tied for first place, and one of them is my amazing co-host. If I'm not mistaken, I'm seeing my brother, our little brother, just a kid, up there with 50 points, even though he's already qualified for Cup. Then in second place, I don't sorry, whoa, I don't mean to disrespect you, Brian. My apologies. In first place as well, CLG's very own Brian F. Let's go, Brian. And then in first place as well, we have Mag Negro, the one and only, in first place. And then fourth place there, we see Toplin, who's actually Kendrick's real life brother. So we see how godlike they are. That's his actual brother. And then in fifth place, Chakotay, Pokey, a player who started getting serious in the Street Fighter because of watching your channel, Brian. So maybe your channel is actually good for something. And then we have my man Marvin tied for 6 as well. Of course, I did speak a lot about this region because I am biased. That is where I'm from. That's where Brian's from. So much love to all of y'all. And Brian, keep doing your thing over there, man. You're looking good.
I'm trying.
Now you should be. I feel like you should be a bit higher than you are, even though you tied first.
I was trying to make it less interesting. You know, maybe if I had known ahead of time, I could say I threw for the 3-place tie for first. But no, I just felt the wrath of Mags and Ramsey firsthand this time. So another 5th place for your boy here. But I'll make it less interesting next time. It'll be a clean sweep from here on out. With that said, another region where it's not a clean sweep, we're heading over now to South America. This is South America B. This one has been won by Frozen. Frozen with his, one of the most electrifying Nashes. He was definitely put on the map in the 2021 season, was showing us how powerful that V-Trigger 2 could be. Yep. One of the most explosive offensive Nashes in the business. We have Dookie with this Luke in second place. Congrats to Dookie on that second place finish.
Bro, are you telling me that Dookie finished number 2?
Yeah, you said it yourself. Dookie finished number 2. Congrats to Dookie with his loop. But in third place, instead, we have Detonation with his Guile, who is looking very strong in this bracket. But we can head on over now to the overall standings. Frozen is in first place with 70 points to his name with a first and 7th place finish. In second, we have Shanks with 55 points. Third place with 51, Salvatore. That 1 point, that can matter. I respect it. Sign up, just register at the very minimum. You get that 1 point. 51 points with Salvatore. Dookie with 4th place with 41 points. Shaka 22 with 40 points.
And last but not least, we have one of the most exciting regions in the world, none other than Mexico 2, and they have one of the best names too for their event, the Mexican Mash Series. That is so godlike. My man Kusanagi cooked up while he racked up another 50 points, taking that first place overall. And from what I seen, I was only really seeing him play Kage. Like, now, if he did bust out a soccer or something like that, I did not see that, at least in the top 8. But my man's Kage was looking absolutely ridiculous. In second place, MJ Gama. Of course, we all know that Gama's going to put in work with that Cammy. But he also actually brought out the Bison in grand finals to try to fight back against Kusanagi. And it did okay, but in the end of the day, it was not enough. But it was very nice to see his Bison. I think it was one of my first times, if not the first time I saw his Bison. And then in third place, we had another person that we know well, Brian, from traveling. is none other than El Tigre, one of the stronger lower players in the world, and it's nice to see him active and still being as strong as he is. So much love to El Tigre with that 3rd place. But let's see what those overall standings are looking like. So of course, in 1st place, Kusanagi has 100 points, doing the best that you could possibly do. My man is batting 1,000 with 2 1st place finishes. In 2nd place, we have MJ Garma with 70 points. And then in 3rd place, we do have El Tigre. So it actually lines up perfectly with how this Mexican Mass Series #2 event actually went. That's who is in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. That top 8 is looking very strong. Kusanagi seems like he's gonna run away with that 1st place spot, in my opinion. I mean, already winning both of the first events, but as we seen, he did not win that CPT event at the end. Solving ended up taking it, so he is not untouchable. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Warrior program is looking amazing. Make sure you sign up for it. Make sure you tune in to support all these amazing events. I can't wait to see what happens at the end.